Have you ever felt like life handed everyone else a manual except for you? Like there's some secret checklist for what being a successful adult, what adulting is supposed to look like. And somehow you're the only one that didn't get the memo because I felt the same way. I still continue to feel the same way sometimes. This episode today is for anyone who's ever scrolled through social media, websites, internet, their phone, whatever it is, and said, did I miss my turn? Am I too late? Am I falling behind in life? If that's you, welcome, because you are in the right place. Today I want to talk about this. This is a real pain point for a lot of us. We think that when we're younger, we especially look to people that are older and we think, oh my God, they have it all together. They figured everything out and everything's perfect and you don't have to worry about these things anymore. And it's not the case. You know, we're digging into that pressure to keep up and the ridiculous timelines that we put on ourselves. And, you know, I found that it doesn't feel like the way we think it's supposed to be. You know, I had this moment a few years ago. I guess it was pre-Corona. Everything to me is BC now, before Corona and after Corona. But anyway, and we were at this dinner party. I remember someone asked me, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I don't know, at that time, there were a lot of things going on personally, professionally. I was thinking about some different moves that I was going to do and some other projects that I was finishing up. And I just froze because honestly, at the time, I felt like I was just trying to make it to the end of the week at that point. And no one knew this. No one knew this, even people that I was collaborating and working with and some of the closest people in my life. Nobody knew this, but this was something that I was, I guess, working through inside of my own head. And the question hit me at that moment, just like a punch in the gut. And I looked around and I thought, wow, you know, everyone here at this dinner party seems so clear and so settled and they're like making strides. They're, you know, going ahead. And I felt like I was running behind in a race that I didn't even sign up for until this question came towards me. Does this sound familiar to you? And here's what I realized at the point is that, and I want you to know this today too, most of the timelines that we measure ourselves against, it's not really anything set in stone. It's completely made up. The whole you should have a certain career by a certain time, you should be married by a certain time, you should have kids, you should have a house, you should, all these shoulds that you should have things by a certain age thing, it's just not a rule. It's a story that we've been told and that we buy into. You know, coming from a different cultural background, man, has this been a major thing. The Indian culture is very beautiful. East Indian culture it's deep, it's mystic, it's magical, it's so rich. There's so much of the culture that I love. But one of the things that it's very interesting actually, looking at it as an adult now, there's such a polar opposites. There's such a duality within the culture because even though it's rich with philosophy and religion and spirituality and this depth and this mysticism and of life and this understanding, this deep understanding of life. On the other hand, people are too busy with worrying about what the Joneses are doing, or I should say, you know, I can use a different Indian name, I guess, but it's like we're so worried about that, and we get brought up in that way of, you know, did they go to an Ivy League school? Did they graduate top of their class? Are they, you know, successful in their profession? Do they have a top paying job? Are they a doctor? Are they an engineer? Are they married by a certain time? Do they have the white picket fence? Do they have kids? And I mean, like all these things. And it's like you will be made to feel bad, whether it is intentional or not, if you're not living according to these timelines. But these timelines are totally made up. You know, I used to think that I had to hit all these milestones to feel enough. And I hated going to family gatherings because no one ever understood that I definitely am the black sheep of the family. I've done things differently than everybody else. And I'm very private about how I am choosing to do certain things. I don't talk about things, and mainly it's because I have felt judged. I have felt completely judged. And by family, it's one thing to be judged by strangers and people you don't know. By family, it hurts a little bit more, and it's a little bit more, it's harder to get over that and just realize that, you know what, you've got to be you, because you know that they can say things to your face that they are accepting of you, but behind your back, they are all talking about, oh my God, why is she doing things like that? And what is she doing? And we don't understand. And she's not like us, basically. She's not normal. And it really is interesting how this impacts you and influences you in your day-to-day life. The best parts of my life have happened when I stopped believing that old timeline and the old script and stopped listening to what other people thought that I should be doing. I mean, like when I moved to a different country on a whim, and it was on a whim, when I look back on it, it was a matter of a 9-month period, literally 9-month period time. And when I started switching my career up a little bit, it's like, people were just like, oh my God, what are you doing? You should pack up. You should move back. You should be settling down. You should be doing this. And when I chose for myself over what people were expecting of me, it was amazing, because that's when I started really living. That's when I started becoming myself. I wanted to challenge, myself at that time. The people that mean the most to me have been accepting, loving, and full on behind me. And that's what really matters to me. The ones that question constantly, I can feel it. I can just, you kind of get this deep intuition actually while going through this kind of stuff in your life. And I want to challenge you today, and I'm challenging myself too, okay? What if you're not behind right now? What if you're exactly where you need to be? And I do believe this, by the way. I believe that we are exactly where we need to be, when we need to be there, how we need to be there. Things happen for a reason, higher purpose, whatever it may be. We may not understand it at the time. But imagine right now, what if you're not behind? What if you're exactly where you need to be? I mean, it's human to compare ourselves to each other. And it's normal to feel like everyone else is moving faster or has a better life. But you know what's normal and actually healthy? Is letting someone else's timeline be their timeline and not making you doubt your own story. That's a healthy way of looking at it. Half the people who look like they've got it all together don't. They're just hiding behind a big mess. They're just hiding the mess, putting it in like the top drawer in your kitchen. I know a good family friend of ours always said you have to have one drawer in the kitchen that can be as messy as you want to do, and all your junk goes in there. Okay, it's just like having that. We're all human. I mean, come on. You're living the real thing if you are marching to your own drum, okay? If you've been feeling like you've been falling behind, let this be your permission slip to stop running a race that isn't even yours. The next time that little voice whispers to you in your head, you're behind, ask it, behind who? For what? And according to whose rules? If it's not coming from your heart, it's probably not worth your time. Your life is not a competition. It's a story. It's a beautiful story that you get to write. And you're right on time for it. You are the main character. You have the pen in your hand. I appreciate so much for you hanging out with me today. If this hit home for you, follow the show, share it with friends who need this reminder, leave a review. I love hearing your stories. Reach out to me. Let's keep this real talk going. See you next time.